Welcome to yet another episode of Lokesh Gets Personal. My name is Lokesh and I get personal. And today I have a very special guest on the podcast who kind of embodies two of my interests. One is history and the other one, of course, is food. None other than Chef Ranveer Brar.
Thank you very much, Lokesh. So much fun. Looking forward to this one. I think it's going to be an interesting interview.
I hope so. In fact, I wanted to ask you this itself. In the last 1.5 days, when I came to know that I'm interviewing you, I was reading up as much as I could on you. I was watching like a lot of interviews, and I was like, this man has given so many interviews. Does he feel like, oh my God, yet another interview?
Like I said, it's the questions sometimes that feel when they are asked the same way. Like the most commonly asked question is, when did you decide to be a chef?
Strike that off.
या फिर what was the first dish you cooked?
Right.
है ना? So वो questions हैं जहाँ आपको लगता है, oh yeah, who cooks at home?
आप बनाते हैं, आपकी वाइफ बनाती है.
बस ये वाले जो सवाल हैं, ये suddenly ये वहाँ ले जाते हैं जहाँ हमें लगता है, oh my God.
Right.
But other than that, it's always fun because I feel it allows me to be present and sometimes navigate questions that I otherwise wouldn't think about.
Right. So, is there any question in your mind that you think, how come no journalist till date has asked me this question, and they should begin the interview with that?
मुझे ये लगता है, I feel people should definitely ask, what is the toughest part of doing what I do? And I think that sometimes goes missing because you sort of celebrate success. You sometimes don't talk about the price you pay for it. I think that's a good question.
So, ठीक है, शुरुआत वहीं से करते हैं. You're making my job easy. I like that.
I think
what are the
part
challenges?
is staying away from the family and Ishan.
Right.
That is tough. When kids are young, you sort of stroll them around. When they get older, they have school and, you got to do what you really have to do. I think for me, that's the toughest part, staying away from the family.
And what's your biggest professional challenge? I mean, this is a personal challenge, right? But like, as a chef,
I think just the vastness of the subject that we deal with.
Right.
That for me is what keeps you interested and challenged as well.
Right.
Food is an unending, it's an onion that never peels off. You're like, oh, I got this, but wait, but there's more, but there's more, but there's more. I think it's just the vastness of the subject.
Right.
And it's a daunting task to master.
Chef, I was watching like a lot of interviews, and one thing that was recurring in all the interviews, I would say, was the fact that you come across as a very grounded, as a very humble, very chilled out human being, and very self-aware as well. In most of the interviews, you said that, life, being a human being, is work in progress. Every night you go and you try to be better as a human being. If I were to ask you 5 words or 5 phrases or 5 sentences that kind of define Chef Ranveer Brar, what would it be? And if you could also have like a combination of both positives and negatives.
I think one, not taking myself seriously. That's the first phrase that I've learned over a period of time.
It's a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's a good thing. I see good or bad ka main actually that is also if I were to figure out good or bad, then again I'm taking myself too seriously. I'm nobody to decide what's good, what's bad, right?
Also, what do you mean when you say that not taking yourself seriously? What are the 3-4 things that you think?
I think sometimes you get stuck in what others tell you've achieved, the journey that you've taken, the respect that you get, and then you start hearing yourself more than others. That I think is taking yourself too seriously.
So don't let your achievements kind of define you?
Yeah, and accept and not be judgmental about anything. Just sort of take everything in your stride. So that I think is one. The second bit is stay connected to your parents. Our parents are our only and honest connection to our past. It's parents first, siblings later, right? They will look you in the eye and tell you for who you really are. And I think it's very important to stay connected to your parents.
Though, is that a sweeping statement? Because a lot of people who don't really have like a good relationship with their parents, does it hold true for them as well?
Yeah, unfortunately it does.
Yeah.
वो source जो है ना वो clear होना चाहिए.
Okay.
सोर्स अगर क्लियर होगा तो झरना क्लियर होगा.
Okay.
Right.
Fair.
So I believe in that, and I also believe that it's one of the most selfless relationships, and it's the easiest relationship to mend and fix. Yeah, that's the second thing. Third, don't worry about money. That's what I've learned. If you do what you love, and if you love what you do, then it's but natural that you'll get rewarded. And unfortunately, or fortunately, in today's world, the connotation of the reward is money. The recognition is money. So I think that's the third thing that I sort of go by. The fourth thing that I go by, which sometimes, see, all these are subjective. Right? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes you got to take money seriously. But this is who I am, and
Right, right.
you sort of
Right.
take it or leave it.
I was also hoping for something that you're working on, some trait that you're working on.
All of it is a work in progress. All of you gotta, every morning you wake up and you sort of, with gratitude, you remind yourself that don't think you are somebody. Because you gotta remind yourself that you're nobody.
Does that
So
thought
everything
cross your mind that I'm somebody?
Yes.
It does, huh?
Of course.
Okay.
I think all of us, there's this wise man who once said that courage is not the absence of fear; it's the ability to choose to act in the presence of fear. We are always in the fight between love and fear. To say that I am in this world of only love, it's impossible. You're always in the fight between love and fear. You always have to make that choice. And you always have to remind yourself.
How do you connect that with that I have arrived?
No, I think when you say I have arrived, now this is going to be a long one, but when you say, I sense this interview is going to be a long one. When you say you have arrived, it comes with achievement.
Right.
Achievement comes with possessions.
Fair.
Possessions comes with ownership. Ownership comes with fear of loss.
Fair. That makes sense now.
If you have something, you'll fear losing it. And then you have to wake up every morning and say, no, I don't fear losing it because I really have nothing. And you have nothing to lose.
True. Can I ask at this point in time, when was the last time you felt a little arrogant?
I'm just figuring out the last half an hour. Must have been.
Really? That recent, huh?
मतलब जैसे मैंने बोला work in progress है.
हाँ.
आज flight पे आते time. There was a red wine that I wanted, it was a Chateau Latour, and I saw it on the menu, and they kept pushing me an Italian red wine. I said, no. They said, no, Chateau Latour is an Italian wine. I'm like, no, it's not an Italian wine. Sometimes, and and I was like, no, sure, it's okay, I'll just have champagne. But then, like, no, but it's an Italian wine. Then you have to be like, listen, this is what I do for a living. It's not an Italian wine. This is the Chateau. This is probably the vintage that you have. Would you like me to show you your wine list again? So yeah.
चलो अच्छा है, आपने एजुकेशन दे दिया अच्छे खासे.
But हाँ, वो borderline हो जाता है.
Nice. The next question is going to be a little long one, so stay with me. I wanted to talk about the function of food and food as feast. Diwali just went by. I was having a conversation with my friends. One of my Gujarati friends, she still does chappan bhog at home. उनकी mother वो खुद बैठ के पूरे के पूरे छप्पन व्यंजन बनाते हैं, and from the scratch, farsan, namkeen, dessert, everything. And one of my Bengali friends was telling me that उनके tradition है कि 14 साग के पत्तियों का वो साग बनाते हैं. And we were just talking about how back in the day, Diwali used to be a festival of feast because we wanted to feed everyone. We wanted to feed the community. We wanted to feed the workers, friends, family. We worked very hard and all that. I also kind of, reflected upon my childhood. हम लोग यहाँ पे दाल चावल ही बनता था रोज, और जब डोसा खाने जाना होता था, it used to be like a matter of, some big event is happening कि हम लोग market में 20 रुपए का खर्च करके डोसा खाने जाते. And you have spoken.
Which city was this?
I was in Delhi. And you have also spoken a lot about the functionality of food. कि एक interview में आप कह रहे थे कि जब घर में 2 सब्जियां और 1 दाल बन जाती थी, it used to be like a big thing. My question is, in a world where we are swigging and Zomatoing all amazing food, where we are coming to Kashkan every weekend, where we are constantly, you know, food is no more a function, food is largely a feast. Are we losing the joy of feasting because it is so easily available? That's question number one. And question number two is, does it put a pressure on you as a chef to constantly churn out, um, you know, delicacies that can satiate people's never-ending demands?
So क्वेश्चन नंबर वन की अगर बात करें तो आई थिंक कुछ चीज़ें जो हैं वो इनहेरेंट हैं खाने के साथ. वन ऑफ देम इज दैट फूड इज मेंट टू बी शेयर्ड
Right,
either as a conversation or as a meal.
right,
It's always better when shared.
right,
Right? आप खा के आ रहे हैं, चार लोगों से बात नहीं करेंगे तो आपको मजा नहीं आएगा.
right.
या चार लोगों के साथ खाना नहीं बांटेंगे आपको, तो एक वो जो people sitting around the table, especially around our festivals, was always important because
Right.
of the basic nature of
Right.
food. दूसरी चीज क्या है, और ये सब संस्कृतियों में है, हमारी में थोड़ा ज्यादा है, कि जो हमारे संस्कृति के दो पैर हैं, राइट, टू स्टेप्स दैट आवर कल्चर टेक्स, श्रम और विश्राम, राइट. इन योगा जैसे श्रम और विश्राम, हम लोग कहते हैं व्रत और दावत, फास्टिंग एंड फीस्टिंग,
Right.
राइट. तो if you want to rest, you have to work harder. If you work hard, you should rest. Work hard, rest hard. तो ये जो nature of the beast है, that also applies to feasting. If you have to feast, you should also fast. Right? There is a reason why the Navratras come at a certain time, because the festive season is about to
Right.
come and your body is getting ready.
Right.
So I think we can't choose one for the other. If we have to embrace the whole thing, then we embrace the whole thing. फिर श्रम और विश्राम दोनों को चूज करना पड़ेगा, फीस्टिंग और फास्टिंग दोनों को चूज करना पड़ेगा. आई थिंक वो स्वाभाविक है.
So, okay.
है ना. दूसरी चीज, आज की दुनिया में जहाँ पर वी हैव सो मेनी चॉइसेस, इट्स I sort of, I would like to step back, with a macro view and say that's not just food, it's everywhere. Right? When we were growing up, our choices were limited, right? We had to work hard to get what we had to get, whether it was knowledge. We had to run down libraries, we had to sort of, you didn't have a phone that you would just Google and say, I want to know what's happening in the US. You used to, I remember, I used to, this old magazine uncle used to be my best friend. I used to sit next to him, read old illustrated weeklies of the 70s,
Right.
to understand what India in the 70s was like, what the emergency was like.
Right.
That's how I got to know of India before my times. That's how I got to know of things that I would not really have to know. Moral of the story is that at that point in time, knowledge was power. Today, everything's accessible. Food is accessible, knowledge is accessible. The power lies in the wisdom to choose. Right? The paradigm has shifted from knowledge to wisdom.
Correct. I hear you. Yeah.
Today, you have a phone in your hand, and it's what you do with it, the apps, the buttons you press, that counts. The choices you make when you hold that phone is what counts. In that information of 10,000 things, the one that you choose to pursue is what counts. And I always say there's, if you're looking at food, you gotta look at it holistically. You gotta look at it as a part of a culture and a subculture. And once you do that and you learn to embrace the whole thing, you can never go wrong, because culturally we're very sound.
Okay.
Right? So if you're embracing feasting, embrace fasting. Embrace the concept and not just a few dishes. Be wise and choose well.
To be able to enjoy feasting in fully.
Absolutely.
And does it put pressure on you, considering we are no?
नहीं, I think वो क्या हो जाता है कि ये जब हम रोल्स डिफाइन करने शुरू कर देते हैं ना, तब प्रॉब्लम होती है. एक शेफ का जो रोल है वो providing food ही क्यों हो? Why should a chef only be providing food? So a chef also gets bored,
Right.
right? If I'm in the ecosystem where you are, and we are breathing the same air and living the same idea of food, I'm already bored even before you are, which means I'm anyways ahead of you. You know, if I love food as much as you do,
Right.
I'm also eating the same food, feeling the same way. So it's not pressure. It's just um, being in the same ecosystem as you
Fair.
are.
You know, people being secretive about their recipes has been quite a part of our culture. I've seen like a lot of people who are being. I remember I was in Lisbon once, and I have gone to this restaurant called Pasta Belém, and their recipe of pasta donata is legendary. Okay, and I was having food there and started talking to people around, and they told me a very interesting story that the restaurant is run by four brothers, and they want to preserve the recipe of pasta donata so badly that they don't even take the same flight, because if the flight goes down, then all four would go down, right? And then they're going to lose the recipe. Um, and you are, you know, so much into history. You talk about the history of food. Has it ever happened that you came across a dish or you came across a recipe, you got really intrigued by the ingredients, you got really intrigued by the history of it or the recipe of it, and you wanted to like kind of get the secret ingredients out, but it never happened, or you pursued and you finally managed to get the recipe out? Has it ever happened with you?
See, it happens with us all the time. But I come from the city of Lucknow, where hiding recipes is a favorite pastime, right? So eventually, what I've learned to understand and appreciate is what they're hiding is practically irrelevant, right? The fact that you add sugar at that late moment is what they're hiding, which is practically irrelevant. Or stuff, the secret masalas that you talk about, essentially, it is the hiding that adds on to the flair and the story
Right.
more than the recipe itself.
Right, right.
So you once you get beyond that, and you understand, analyze, and get food for what it really is. When you've been cooking for 30, 32 years,
Right.
you more or less come close to it. I was in Kashmir recently, 5 days ago, and I had the most amazing shufta, which is a sweet mushroom dish that they did. Blew my mind. I came back and I asked them a recipe, and they kept telling me. I asked them again, they kept telling me. So then you sort of put it together in your head. You read about it. You read about it in a few other places, you make a few calls. And then your intelligence needs to collect all of that information and process it and make the dish. Um, Irrespective of whether they want to tell you the whole recipe or not, the competence of making the recipe solely and completely is yours.
Fair, fair. In fact, that was one of my questions. Can you reverse engineer a recipe by just like tasting a dish and understanding the ingredients of the dish?
Yeah, with a few questions, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
With a few questions, yes. I think I will have a few questions. You have to allow me 2 questions, and I can reverse engineer a dish. Let's put it like that.
Nice. कोई किस्सा लेकिन आ रहा है दिमाग में कि कोई कोई ऐसी रेसिपी जो आप चाहते थे किसी फैमिली से, किसी रिलेटिव से, बट लाइक
लखनऊ में तो अक्सर
some
ही होता है।
anecdote?
मतलब जब हमने काम शुरू किया तो हमारा काम ही था मसाले कूटना, you know. All we used to do was all I used to do was grind spices, and when he wanted to mix the spices, I would be sent back. निहारी का मसाला जब बनता था तो हम हर चीज अलग अलग कूटते थे। जब मसाले ब्लेंड करने होते थे तो हमको लंच करने भेज दिया जाता था।
अच्छा।
कोयला सुखाने भेज दिया जाता था। तो I've grown up like that.
Okay.
Which is fine, because gradually you learn to train your senses to actually add one and one together, and cooking is about that.
Right.
Cooking is about analyzing, anticipating, and putting one and one together.
What's your relationship with money, chef? Is it deep rooted into your humble beginnings? Are you a saver? Are you a spender? How does it work?
बहुत ही indifferent सा relationship है मेरा money के साथ.
Okay.
all my life I've realized that I've never been short of it. And I never felt that I needed more.
Okay.
So, and I've been surrounded by people who managed the money or who've been ambitious about earning more money. मेरा बहुत ही सिंपल है, जितना मुझे चाहिए जब मैं जेब से निकालता हूँ उतना मिल जाता है. अगर नए कपड़े खरीदने हैं तो हो जाते हैं. बड़ी बड़ी चीज़ों का मुझे शौक नहीं है.
Okay.
You know, I like photography and I probably spend cameras and lenses. That's about it. तो मेरा वही है, बहुत एक इंडिफरेंस ही है, पैसे का कोई इतना. बट आई ऑलवेज हैव, हम जितना मेरे को चाहिए होता है उतना हो जाता है. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, इन हम्बल बिगिनिंग्स वाली बात नहीं है. इट इज जस्ट दैट आर द होल आइडिया, वी बेसिकली अ फार्मिंग फैमिली,
राइट.
सो money as in transaction is not what you ever saw. हाँ, वो एक बार मंडी में होती थी साल के एंड में, मैं वहां जाता नहीं था जी. हम लोग देखते थे मेहनत, फसल उगाना, आना करना, जैसे तैसे करके, और खुशी, और वो वो इमोशंस और वो वैल्यूज जो मैटर करते हैं. तो हम लोगों ने देखा ही नहीं है बचपन से. वो एक होता है ना, एज अ, हमको कभी बताया ही नहीं गया कि पैसा बहुत जरूरी है जिंदगी के लिए, या ये करो, या बगैर पैसे कुछ नहीं होता, पैसा ही भगवान है. वो उस तरह की हमारी अपब्रिंगिंग ही नहीं हुई कि काम करो बेटा, मेहनत करोगे तो सब कुछ हो जाएगा. ये देखो, हम भी मेहनत कर रहे हैं, खेती कर रहे हैं, सो आई वाज ग्रोन अप लाइक दैट. सो मैंने उन चीजों के बारे में सोचा नहीं कभी इस तरह से.
Fair, fair. I also wanted to speak about arts and commerce. एक तरफ of course आपका passion है खाने की तरफ, and at the same time, it is business at the end of the day. Can both coexist? How do you strike a balance with arts and commerce?
I think first you need to sort of decide how much is enough. Because it's never enough. Right? I'm talking about commerce. And once you've decided this much is enough, stick to it. And work for that much. And that should be your sphere of compromise, your sphere of not being as creative as you'd like to be, your sphere of mundaneness should be just that. And that sphere, as long as it's giving you your idea of enough, that should keep you happy. And beyond that, there's an entire world for you to explore.
But that's very interesting. Wow. So you set yourself a certain whatever, and then that will decide your extent of creativity, your extent of experimentation. And
so for example, let's say I decide that this much money is enough for me. And that's that money is obviously, why is it enough? Because I also want to fuel my creative pursuits. That also needs money,
right?
I also, then there is the usual dunyadari ka stuff, bachche ki education, this you put a number. And you sort of, that 20 to 30% of your effort has to be towards achieving that number. As long as you do that 20-30% every day, 70% is enough to give you the satisfaction.
That's such a lovely
that
answer.
You're doing something for yourself.
That's so cool. Yes, Chef, do you think through these questions? Because I was watching all your interviews, and whatever interesting question that comes your way, it just feels that you have like a ready answer. Like you have thought through all these things. Does that like come naturally to you?
मतलब आप बोलते हैं साथ सोचता रहता. मेरी एडवांटेज ये है कि मैं बोल के सोचता हूँ. So I like to think and talk at the same time. Most of what you hear is me thinking and talking at the same time.
It's interesting because you're also making sense. There are a lot of people who kind of think and speak at the same time, but don't really come up with a befitting answer.
That's the advantage of being from Lucknow. You're gifted with articulation.
I guess so. I wanted to speak about, in one of your interviews, you were talking about the individuality of every city and the individuality of the food of every city, and now how everything is being painted with one big brush.
Saurabh ke saath
आप बात कर रहे थे. I grew up in Delhi, and when I used to go and have dosas, my dosas used to be like paper thin, crispy, crunchy. 1999 or 2000, I think I went to Bangalore because my brother shifted to Bangalore for his job and we were visiting him. And I still remember he used to stay right opposite Manipal Hospital और उसकी कैंटीन में बहुत अच्छा साउथ इंडियन मिलता था. So he was like, let's go and have South Indian. I said, yeah, sure. Dosa is my favorite. So उसने कहा मैं तेरे को डोसा खिलाता हूँ. अब उनका डोसा तो मोटा
Soft.
and soft.
Dosha. The
The
actual
dosa,
dosha. Yeah.
exactly.
Hmm.
And उनके उनके उसमें coconut. And I was like, ये तो डोसा नहीं है. And he was like, no, this is the authentic dosa. My question to you is, if a unique dish comes out of amalgamation and crisscross of cultures, that's a beautiful thing, of course. But at the same time, if the authentic flavors of of a dish that comes from a certain region is questioned by somebody who doesn't really know much, or for somebody who for who dosa was paper thin crisp, is that a problem?
Not at all. I think ये जो medium है ना, ये हमसे कहीं बड़ा है. Food as a medium is way bigger than all of us. And eventually, us forming judgments about food doesn't really change anything about food, right? But us having opinions about food eventually ends up teaching us a lot. तो भाई अगर आप वो नहीं बोलते और वो तो शायद आप उस बारे में उतना सोचते भी नहीं ना कि अरे नहीं डोसा ऐसे भी होता है, अरे नहीं नहीं तू झूठ बोल रहा है, नहीं नहीं मैं सच बोल रहा हूँ, ऐसे भी होता है, कहीं जाके पढ़ा होगा आपने, कुछ किया होगा. तो वो आई थिंक इट्स गुड टू हैव ओपिनियंस. इट इज गुड टू या मेरे पे कई लोग बोलते हैं ना कि नहीं रणवीर हम तो वहाँ के हैं, इंदौरी पोहा ऐसा नहीं बनता. तो मैं उनसे बोलता हूँ यार प्लीज बताओ कैसे बनता है. ऑफ कोर्स मैं इंदौर का नहीं हूँ, मेरी जीन्स में नहीं है वो पोहा.
Right.
So please tell me where I went wrong. You eventually end up, you come out richer. That's the beauty of the of the medium. तो मुझे तो बड़ी अच्छी बात लगती है, बड़ा अच्छा है. हर एक के ओपिनियंस होने चाहिए. आपका खाना हो नहीं हो, ये कहीं ना कहीं eventually food will win. कहीं ना कहीं you will come out of it a winner. मम्मा कड़ी पत्ता नहीं देखा हम लोगों ने जिंदगी में, है ना, गांव में पंजाब में मम्मा ने जिंदगी में कड़ी पत्ता नहीं देखा. यहाँ आके सडनली ये क्या है, हम तो बकरियों को खिलाते हैं, ये करते हैं, वो करते हैं. You know, eventually शालू my sister is in Bangalore, तो वो आती है घर तो कड़ी पत्ते की खाना बनता है, तो खा रही है ना. She's learned to appreciate it over a period of time. So food will win. It will find a way to win.
So, but then what is dosa at the end of the day? Is it the crispy dosa? Because my idea of dosa was so badly shaken. I was like, ये तो मेरे साथ मतलब धोखा हो गया.
Dosa is what makes you comfortable and what you connect to. Okay, I think it's very, very important to understand that food is a very personal experience and nobody can take that away from you. You know, I am nobody to tell you कि डोसा ऐसे ही बनना चाहिए, आपको ऐसे अच्छा लगता है. That's the right dosa for you. Where we go wrong is when we start, you know, creating these boundaries to food. We forget the fact that, boss, there's an Udupi story, right? That there was a priest. वो नए नए प्रीस्ट बने, यंग बने, तो उनको लगा कि यार ये तो बहुत गड़बड़ हो गई, लेट मी हैव अ ड्रिंक. ही वांटेड टू मेक अल्कोहल, सो ही स्टार्टेड फर्मेंटिंग राइस.
Okay.
देन ही फेल्ट, नो 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 व्हाट एम आई डूइंग. तो उन्होंने वो चावल को पीस के उसका पैनकेक बना दिया, और क्योंकि वो दोष से उत्पन्न हुआ तो उसका नाम दोषा पड़ गया. राइट? अभी कहानी सच है झूठ है डजंट मैटर. आई एम सेइंग some people say that dosa is not even Indian. It is basically an intermarriage between the Indonesian crepes and because of the intermarriages between Indonesians and the Tamil kings.
Yeah.
So जब जो चीज आप किसी कॉन्सेप्ट को ओन ही नहीं करते हो, इतने हजारों सालों के एवोल्यूशन के बाद कोई चीज बनी है, आप उसको एक फॉर्म दे रहे हो और बोल रहे हो कि मैं उससे बड़ा हूं और मैं ये डिसाइड करता हूं कि डोसा है ना ऐसा होना चाहिए, वो अपने आप में स्टूपिड है ना.
Fair. It's a very futile.
It's a futile exercise. It's a food is very personal. As long as you're respecting the cultural connect of the food to the culture, and as long as you're not outrightly insulting food, it's yours. as much as anybody else.
I'm so happy that you're saying this because aajkal I see this, come up in conversations often, and I think I sometimes end up doing that as well. My bad. That we try to become a little too snooty about like I know the origin of this particular dish and how it should taste and authentic flavors क्या होने चाहिए. Food is exactly what you enjoy, and you so beautifully put it.
कि क्या ऑथेंटिक है सर, यहाँ पे हम लोग इतना कशकन में दुनिया भर की चीजें बनाते हैं.
जी
मैं बोलता हूँ कुछ ऑथेंटिक नहीं.
जी.
Because the whole idea of authentic itself is not authentic.
Absolutely.
Show me the man who first made a dal makhani.
Right.
And then tell me that everybody is following the same recipe to say that it's authentic.
Right.
It's not.
Right.
It's just the purpose of food is different.
Yeah. No, fair. Ranveer, couple of more questions and then we'll wrap up. I'm fascinated by the amazing trivia that you bring along on your YouTube channel. I'm fascinated by the history that it just gives such a beautiful context to a dish that you are talking about, that you're preparing. Where I mean, do you do like a proper research? Do you read books? If there is someone who wants to read about history of food, are there any books that you want to recommend? Do you talk to people who give you history about all these little nuggets that you share?
It's actually all of it put together. So ever since I was a kid, I always had a lot of questions. Even as a cook, I was a very curious cook. I used to make sure that I go back with 10 questions every night and sort of try and find answers to those 10 questions. So then you start collecting. First is collecting, right? You collect from everywhere. 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years, you're reading books, you're collecting, you're answering questions, you're talking to people. And then it starts coming together. Because now you have a body of knowledge in your head. And now every information that comes in has a certain perspective that you can process it with. That's when it becomes fun. Right? So that's when it started becoming fun for me. 15 years in the business, when you've been sort of trying to collect all information possible.
Do you make notes?
No, most of it is dimag mein.
Acha.
In terms of books, I definitely say that a few books that I always like to go by is K.T. Achaya, A Historical Companion of Food.
Okay.
That's something that I refer to very often if I want to go back to the history of Indian food. Other than that, it's mostly conversations, people I meet, conversations that I have. It gives me a high. It registers in my mind because it gives me that high. Suddenly, the curiosity in me sort of, somebody tells you something like, oh, really? It just gives me a different high. And that high registers and the information registers through that high. So, लिखता नहीं हूँ.
अच्छा.
But आप बात करेंगे तो कहीं ना कहीं dots connect हो जाते हैं.
That's amazing. One of the most fascinating things about your YouTube videos, for sure. I've been cooking as well for like last 20, 25 years now. I run a blog called Loki's Kitchen where every Tuesday I'm kind of sharing recipes. It's again a long question. When I share recipes on Instagram and on YouTube and all that, the person who is viewing it, they cannot really have the product, right? If it's a dancing video, if it's a singing video, they can see the product and they can appreciate it. जो बेसिक कोर है कुकिंग का वो तो खा ही नहीं पा रहे हैं, वो सिर्फ देख पा रहे हैं, राइट? यू जज मास्टर शेफ इंडिया, वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट cooking reality shows, in competition to, let's say, a Dance India Dance or an Indian Idol where proper singing and dancing is happening. As a judge of MasterChef India, what is your struggle? Because the product is not being served to the viewers and they completely have to rely on you and your expertise. Is there a challenge? That's one. And secondly, what really makes these cooking shows such an astounding hit when the viewers are not even able to sample the final product? Like, how does it work? I'm so fascinated by this.
So yeah, no, I had these questions myself because it's the same thing, ना? आप म्यूजिक सुन सकते हैं, डांस देख सकते हैं, खाना खा नहीं सकते,
right?
फिर आप क्यों देखते हैं मास्टर शेफ? उसके 2-3 कारण हैं. एक तो ये कि everybody cannot sing. everybody cannot dance, but almost everybody can cook a little bit.
Hmm.
So you are already connected to the process by the time the food gets to the table. It's not alien to you. अच्छा इसने प्याज लिया, तड़का डाला, अच्छा ये बना रहा है, अच्छा ये बना रहा है वो, अच्छा ये क्या बना रहा है, आप ऑलरेडी प्रोसेस से कनेक्ट होते हैं, उस कंटेस्टेंट से कनेक्ट होते हैं, उसकी डिश से कनेक्ट हो चुके होते हैं टेबल तक आने से पहले, राइट? तो वो रियलिटी शोज में नहीं होता, आप सिर्फ परफॉर्मेंस से कनेक्ट होते हैं, राइट? यहाँ द प्रोसेस ऑफ मेकिंग द डिश and the journey of the dish is a big hook that you latch onto. That's one big difference between why shows like MasterChef are successful in spite of people not being able to taste it, because the connection is different. The connection is to the process of cooking, to the contestant, his struggle, and the way he's navigating the time. The tasting, what I've realized is the tasting is an inquiry, right? It's not a statement. When you're putting an inquiry out, how have you cooked it? At what stage did you add salt? When I'm inquiring and tasting at the same, do you think the salt is less because this is what happened? This is not good. I think this is what went wrong. Now that inquiry is taking you back to the whole process of cooking and saying, that's basically what it was. That's basically what it was, right? Also, you're forming an ideal image of that dish first, which is something that we Indians love to do. That ideal छोले भटूरे को explain करता है ना भाई, वैसे छोले थे, उसमें से हल्का सा एक ये था, वो था. हमको खाने के डिस्क्रिप्शन से कनेक्ट होना बड़ा अच्छा लगता है, राइट? तो आप जब एक आइडियल, उस डिश की एक आइडियल इमेज बनाते हैं, तो एक एक्सपेक्टेशन सेट हो जाती है, राइट? उसके बाद आप इंक्वायरी करते हैं कि आप वहां तक पहुंचे नहीं और क्यों नहीं पहुंच पाए. तो वो इंक्वायरी, प्रोसेस ऑफ कुकिंग, वो इतना अहम हिस्सा हो जाता है MasterChef जैसे शो का. That becomes relatable, and that's what people latch on.
Also, because like I was telling you, I cook a lot and all. I feel, correct me if I'm wrong, Indian food sometimes is not very presentable versus, let's say, continental dishes and European dishes and all that. And now everything is about how you eat with your eyes on social media, right? When you are creating recipes on YouTube and Instagram, do you feel that सांबर को आप कितने तरीके से या दाल को आप कितने अच्छे से दिखा लेंगे? एक croissant अगर रखा होगा, it just looks so beautiful and elegant. But अब दाल को आप कैसे elegant दिखाओ और दाल को आप कैसे beautiful दिखाओ?
But that is the nature of खाने का जो मकसद है ना. I think the biggest lesson that you learn as you evolve with food, after spending 3-4 decades with food, is surrender. है ना? आप फोर्स नहीं कर सकते हैं खाने के ऊपर अपना एक्सप्रेशन, एक फॉर्म जो एग्जिस्ट नहीं करता है. आपको सरेंडर करना पड़ता है. खाने का मकसद समर्पण है. दाल ऐसी ही होती है. आपको, you have to surrender to that fact. The beauty, because till you surrender to it, you will not realize that the beauty is somewhere else, and that is where the energies need to go. The beauty, and I think Marco Pierre White put it beautifully. He said, Ranveer, the presentation of Indian food is its generosity. It's not the.
but वो Instagram पे नहीं आते ना, फिर views नहीं आते ना, फिर प्रॉब्लम आ जाती है. क्या करें? But कुछ European dish डालो तो उसपे it looks beautiful, so it gets more traction.
But then would you see, there's a purpose, ना?
Yeah.
आप खाने के साथ अपने रिलेशनशिप के साथ ऑनेस्ट होने के लिए इस बिजनेस में हैं, या आप व्यूज के लिए?
नहीं, मैं सिर्फ मैं strictly virtually, because whatever is trending these days, I was strictly talking about the virtual food,
So you look at all my thumbnails, they all look the same.
They do actually.
They all look the same.
Right.
But मैं क्यों अभी आपको बोलूं कि इस पनीर को ऐसे लेके इसका बनाते हैं रुलाद, इसका ये मैं फोर्स कर रहा हूं अपने आप को एक डिश के ऊपर जिसका मेन मकसद है सेलिब्रेट करना। आप समझे? तो वो ये बहुत मुश्किल से मैं इस प्रोसेस पे आया हूँ जहां मैंने सरेंडर किया है खाने की सिंपलिसिटी को। We all start off as cooks where we put 25 things in a dish and we make it big, and then eventually when we reach 50 we realize no, it is the simpler stuff that's
You're
difficult.
so right. You're so right.
You know, and you don't want to, you want to hold on to that thought, and that's the whole, that's the spiritual connect to food that you've been seeking all this while.
Yeah. I totally relate to this because as a radio presenter, when I started, कि ये sound effect चलाए थे, वो sound effect, these are all frills. But like you said, when you age, when you reach in your 40s and all that, you realize, no, the crux of it is what you really want to say, and hold on to that. Similarly for food as well.
Absolutely.
Last question. What's your strength as a chef and what's your weakness as a chef?
I think my strength as a chef is, like I said, I don't take myself too seriously. So I'm sort of open and I soak in as much as I can. My weakness is I hate doing the same thing twice.
Okay.
I always feel if I'm making this dish the second time, how can I make it better? What different can I do? How can I learn from it? Right? If you expect me to stand on a chulla and make the same dish every day, like a good, consistent, perfect restaurant chef, I'm not the guy.
Really?
I have to
Innovate.
Every time do a little bit something different and sort of keep my machine going.
Nice. Chef, I had like tons and tons of other questions as well, but I think I'm going to park them for a different session altogether. So happy that you could make time for us.
No, this is fantastic. I had a lot of fun.
Kashkan is here at Dubai Festival City. Would you like to say something to the diners of Dubai?
हाँ, मतलब आइए ज़रूर देखिए एक बार। अच्छा खाना है ना? बहुत ज़्यादा धुआं नहीं है, बहुत ज़्यादा फ्रिल्स नहीं है, बट खाना अच्छा है। अच्छी दाल बनाते हैं, गरम-गरम रोटी खिलाते हैं। मेहनती बच्चे हैं, बहुत मेहनत कर रहे हैं। आप आएंगे, आपको अच्छा लगेगा। दिल से बनाया हुआ खाना है।
Thank you so much, Chef. Lovely chatting with you.
Cheers.
Thank you.